Hello students, we'll move on with the next topic, that is functions. So functions are nothing but you can say it as a set of code which is going to do some specific task. Okay, so we'll see the general form of a PHP function. So the general form is, first of all you're writing function followed by the name of the function and you're writing the parameters. So you can see here parameters are written inside the square bracket. So these are the optional ones. Okay, then within the opening and the closing braces you have the body of the function. Okay, so this is a general form of a PHP function. Next we'll see the general characteristics of a function. So function names are not case sensitive, that is uppercase and lowercase are different. A written statement specifies the value to be written to the caller and ends the function execution. So what does a written statement do? So I've written the function and at the end you have written the written statement. So written statement nothing but it tells the value that has to be written back to the caller. Okay, and ends the function execution. A function that reaches the end of the body without executing the returns no value. So if you have reached the end of the body and you don't have a written statement, in such cases that particular function is not going to return any value back. So all these concepts you have already learned in your C language, that is function with written value, with no parameter written value, all those things. Okay, so in first case you are saying in case written followed by some variable you have written, then in that case it is going to return that value back to the caller. In case you're not returning any value, you reach the end of the body and without executing the return means you're not going to return any value back to the caller function. One or more related function used by more than one document can be stored in a separate file and copy those file into the document using include function. So using include function you can copy those files into documents. Okay, next, under parameters, you're having actual parameters as well as formal parameters. All this you already learned. So actual parameters are the one which is present in the function call, whereas formal parameters are the one which is there in your function definition. Okay. So actual parameters are the one which is sending the value and formal parameters are the one which is receiving the value. And different mechanism of parameter passing, that is pass by value and pass by reference. In pass by value what you're doing, you're passing the copy of the value. So any changes that has happened within the function is not going to reflect back in the calling function. Whereas in case of pass by reference, since you're passing the address of the variable, any changes that has happened in that location, that is reflected back in the calling function. So the same thing, you have an example here. This is for pass by value wherein you're passing the copy of the value. Okay, so your function name is max absolute with the, suppose we say a is 10 and b is 20. So that 10 and 20 is your actual parameter. So that value is stored in the variable first and second. So first and second has 10 and 20. So first is equal to max absolute value of first and second is having so if the first is greater than or equal to second, then you're going to return the value of first, otherwise you're going to return the value of second. So any changes that has happened here will not reflect back in the calling function. Similarly, next one is pass by reference. In this case what happens, pass by reference you're passing the address. So this can be specified in two ways. An ampersand can be appended in the beginning of the name of the formal parameter. So formal parameter is nothing but which is present in your function definition. Add an ampersand to the actual parameter in the function call. So ampersand can be either added here or it can be added in the function call. Okay, so in this particular example ampersand is added in the beginning of the name of the formal parameter. Okay, so here you have um, first and second that is represented by a and b, and max is nothing but max of the two. Okay, so you can see here in max that is ampersand, that is reference. So here what changes has happened, first is greater than second. So if you're passing a as 10 and b as 20, so 10 is first, second is 20, so 10 is greater than 20, this is false. So what happens, max value will be 20. So in this case, what happens? The value will be updated. The same value will be reflected back in the calling function. So previously value of m was 0, but now it will be having the maximum value. That is, it will be having the value 20. So this is your pass by reference. Next one, you have the scope of the variable. So scope of the variable, it can be either local or global. So when you say local, that particular visibility will be only in the region where it is defined. Okay, so here you can see you have an example program. Here you have a variable sum which you have initialized to 10, and here you are creating an array with values 2 4 6 8. You're calling the function summer, and the values you're passing, that is 2 4 6 8. So these values will be sent to this summer function. In the summer function, what you're doing, you're using for each statement for all the elements of the array. What you're doing, you're performing addition. That is, initially what happens, 0 plus 2, then it will be 2, again you're adding. So total, according when you're performing this for all, you will be getting the sum value as 20. Okay, in this case. So again, it is going to return the value of sum, which will be 20. So sum of the values in num sum. So here, sum of the values in num sum is answer. So what is happening here? You are returning the value of sum. That is, last value of sum will be, when you're performing the addition of 2 4 6 8, it will be 20. So that value will be, that result will be stored in ANS. So sum of values, that is in num, is 20. So that is the answer here. You get 20. The value of sum is still sum. So what happens? The value of sum is not changed here. So here answer is changed, but sum, since it is declared local, it is still remaining the same. That is 10. So that is about your local scope. Similarly, next one, you have global scope. So in global scope, what happens? You have used big sum, which is declared before the function in the beginning. So that is your global declaration. Then within the function, again you have declared it big sum. If you're not declaring it again, then here it you won't be getting the result here. So once again you have to declare here. Okay. So again here also you're performing sum, and that sum value again you're adding with big sum, and you're returning the value of sum. Okay, so here what happens, if global declaration were not included in the function, the script would have two variables named big sum. So one is here and one is here if you wouldn't have given as global. Okay, and the one that is local to the function. So one will be global and one will be local. Without the declaration, this script cannot do what is meant to do. Okay, so this is about your global. And finally, the last part, you have the lifetime of a variable. So lifetime of a variable, the default lifetime of a local variable in PHP is from the time the variable is first used until the function execution terminates. Until the function terminates, the lifetime of that variable will be there. To retain information about previous activation, a function must have static local variable specified with the keyword static. So if you are given the keyword static, if you have declared a variable with the keyword static, or if you have initialized, if you have initialized the variable with the keyword static, then the previous values or information can be present. The lifetime of a static variable in function begins when the variable is first used in the function's first execution until the script execution ends. Okay, here it is, function execution terminates here until function's first execution till the script execution ends. You have a small program here. So function do it, and you're passing the parameter here. So static count, you declared it as static, you initialized to 0, and count is incremented. So here what happens, print do it has now been called how many times. So initially it will be 0, then it will be 1. So what is happening here, this particular function displays the number of time it has been called, even if it is called from different places. Okay, so even if it is called from different places, it is going to give you the count. The fact that it is local, count is static, that allows, so since I've told it as static, it allows this to be done. So how many times this particular script is been called, it is going to display it even if it is called from different places. Okay, so this is all about your functions. Thank you.